Christina Mason. I work in the Agency on Aging, Area 4. I'm glad you guys are here for my class. We're doing Cooking Matters. Before I start, I want to let everyone know who's virtual that I have mailed out every session, all 4 sessions, all 4 giveaways that I do. It might be there within the week or definitely before the next week's session. So the papers I actually I mailed over to the people who gave us the address and their names. So just remember I mailed it over, and the people who are here today, I just gave you some papers regarding whole grains. We'll talk about that. But I want to make a quick little snippet for the people who are there virtually. You're going to get a link. It's going to be on the message for a survey. If you could complete it, CalFresh actually funds us, so it helps us to do the Cooking Matter classes and the other classes that we have. You're going to get it, of course, in the link, and you're also going to get it emailed. So if you can complete it, that would be great. Thank you. We're going to start, I guess, right now. One of the handouts, and you're already looking at it, it's about whole grain and refined grain. I guess I can show you a quick little one. It talks about bran. Bran being in whole grain, you have 3 parts of wheat. You have the bran, which is the outer layer. It has the fiber, it has the minerals. It gives it that brown color. You also have the germ. It's like the embryo. It can sprout. And also it's good with vitamin E, vitamin B, and a lot of good fatty acids, and vitamins and minerals. And in the middle, we have the endosperm. It's basically keeping the germ alive. It's our nutrition source. It still has vitamins and minerals, but a smaller amount compared to the germ in the bran. When the industry, I guess you can say, changed in 1800, they took all the vitamins and minerals out by taking away bran and the germ. Sometimes it can have one, sometimes it could be missing both of these, bran and germ, but usually it just has the endosperm. That's why you get the white coloring as well. But just know there's also something called enriched grains. They actually incorporate a little bit of vitamins and minerals back into the wheat. So it's getting a little bit good for you, the white, but it's not as much as the wheat bread, the whole grain wheat bread. Any questions on that? I know, and should be self-explanatory, but if you do have anything, let me know. I want to do a quick little exercise. When I think of whole grains, I think of your stomach. Stomach has stomach acid. I want to do a quick little thing about breads. This is white bread. I also have whole wheat bread. I want to show you a great example of what your stomach acid does to white bread and whole wheat. And remember, whole wheat has a lot of fiber, or it has fiber, more protein, more iron, and folate. I think I'm going to use a glass bowl to make it very nice. And you can actually see it. 1 slice of bread. Is it me? I'm the only one who doesn't like taking the first slice off. I don't like taking the first slice. And I'm going to use this one. Your stomach acid has a pH of 1.5 to 3.5, so it's acidic. But orange juice actually has about 3.5 stomach acid. It's very similar. So I'm going to pour a little bit of water on there, and we're going to see what happens. And also, I'm going to actually pass around some bread. I want you to tell me what you think the differences are. And just be forewarned, it's fairly quick, so you'll be able to notice the changes in the bread and the orange juice. It's about a cup. It's just going to soak in. Even though it's experiment supposed to be a few minutes, you will notice very quickly the great example of your how your stomach breaks down carbohydrates. But I'm gonna quickly slice up some bread, and you guys are gonna try it. And there's not as many people here, so take as many as you want. And it is soaking it up. I'm gonna ask, since I'm the only one here and I don't have my assistant today, here's some bread. Pass around, take one if you like. If you don't, that's perfectly fine too, no pressure. But tell me what you think of it. Tell me what the differences are. Oops, nah, let it go. Thank you. So everyone, get a white piece of bread, get a whole wheat bread. Just by looking at the nutrition label, I can see that it's 100% whole grain, and it's okay if you don't. No one has to eat it. Perfectly okay. But what can you tell? Even if you don't eat it, what can you tell about the difference between whole wheat and white? Good. Does anyone notice a difference? A difference in taste, maybe texture, how light and fluffy it is? The white is softer? Yes, it is. What about the taste? If anyone has eaten it. White tastes better. I must admit, back in the day, in the 1800s, when they first decided to do refined grain, there was a reason for it. It's lighter, it's fluffier, it's great with pastries. That's why they did the refined grain, took out all the minerals and, of course, the color. But wheat, it definitely has more fiber, more nutrition, more iron, so that's the major difference. And while this is going, I am going to show you, don't even have to wait that long, for our bread. I'm going to show you, lifted up, what the wheat bread looks like. Nice, hearty, still stable, right? I'm going to show you if I can, and I can't, but the white bread is just a mess. So just within a few minutes, think of this as our stomach acid. It breaks down quickly. With the whole wheat and whole grain, lasts longer, you're more satiated, so you feel fuller for longer. So that's the major difference, and honestly, this is soup now. Okay, so actually I want to do the recipe. Any questions before I even go into the recipe? Bear with me, I'm going to take some slower. Oh, if you want some papers, you're more than happy to grab some. And remember too, I gave you a paper called Be a Whole Grain Detective. Go ahead. It talks about what you're looking at when you look at the nutrition label. The first thing, of course, you're going to see is whole wheat flour. I hope you have the papers. I'm sorry if you don't. Yes, thank you. That's the one thing you can see, and you'll know that it actually has the 100%. But just know that whole wheat and whole grain, they're very similar, but there's other forms of whole grain. I brought a couple of things from my home, so you're going to see other types of whole grain. And this is just stuff I have in the cupboards. First thing, popcorn, or kernels, I'm sorry. So yellow corn, even though it just says, the first ingredient says popcorn, 100% whole grain is actually on the very top. I also just have oatmeal. I eat this almost every morning. First ingredient also, whole wheat rolled oats. And I'm a Triscuits girl, so first ingredient also, whole grain. So just remember, look at those labels. It tells you more than what you actually think. And it's great when you go grocery shopping and you can tell before you end up buying it what actually it has in there. But let's start with the actual recipe for today. It's the black bean and vegetable quesadilla. I must admit I prepped at home because it helped me tremendously. I didn't want to have to deal with half the things here. I'm going to set this right here. I'm going to turn this on. Some of the ingredients I use is going to be black bean, there's corn, I'm doing spinach, zucchini. Does anyone have any problems with that? I'm using a lower fat cheese, and I'm actually using the whole grain wheat flour. Any issues with that? I'm with it, okay. Just know that I did prep my zucchini. It is 2 zucchinis are in here. I grated it. Best thing ever. It makes it quick. And if you want, you leave it here. It does have a lot of water and liquid. So it helps out tremendously if you do this beforehand. I'm going to put a little bit of oil. I've already drained out the beans. So if you're looking at the recipe, I've already drained off the black beans. I've drained even the corn. So this is going to be fairly easy to start. I'm just going to add a little bit of oil. If you don't use oil, of course, it's okay to use the cooking spray too. And remember beforehand, I've already rinsed it, grated it, and basically squoze out all the water as much as I can, but I know that there's more. And my pan is not hot, so it's going to be a while to get this liquid out. So bear with me. What are everyone's idea of what you think of with it when you want a quesadilla? What do you add in there? And if it's just cheese, that's fine too. When you think of quesadillas, what are you thinking about? What are you cooking? No answer is no. A tortilla and cheese? That's fine. But this is going to be that perfect time, too. Chicken's going to be great, too. I have no issues with chicken. Of course, it might be a little hard for me to handle here, but chicken's a great alternative, great source of protein. But anything else other than, like, there's beans. That can be a great source of protein, too, adding it. Leftover vegetables. Great source, and honestly, it's anything that you want. If you have that one random bell pepper that's just in the cupboard, take it out and use it. Oh, this is not as hot as I'd like. It's on.
I just want to make sure there's power coming to it.
I can.
A few minutes to warm up.
Oh yeah.
Slower.
I'm gonna prepare next time I need to do something heated up and just leave it on just so it can heat up a bit. But it's good. I can see that it's slowly working. And of course, if you salt to preference or salt to taste, if that's something you like. I did sprinkle on just a little bit beforehand just to get the excess water out. But if that's something you like, perfectly fine. What about everyone else? When I think of whole grains, what's your thought on whole grains? Not necessarily, it doesn't have to be bread. I know before you said that you did like the white bread. That's perfectly fine. But what about your idea of incorporating it in the daily life?
You can get corn tortillas.
Corn's a good one. That has protein, that has fiber as well, and nutrients. Avocado would be great. Great source of healthy fat. Now you're just making me hungry. I didn't bring avocado. Oh, it's warming up now. Good. While that's going, we're going to slowly put our corn in, and I'm going to go through and actually do the right measurements since there's not as much of this. Corn, we're going to do a cup. I always think there's going to be a bigger crowd here, but I know quite a few people are virtual. I also drain the corn, so something you can do as well. Helps out. You don't have to cook it as much. And if you use no salt, that's great, but honestly, if there isn't one available, the regular one, you can rinse it off. It takes out some of the salt as well. It's gonna need a little bit more cooking time. I want it to be nice and dry. Does anyone have any questions on any of the other papers that I read off or the experiment that we did? And if you came late, I understand if you don't know what I'm talking about. That's okay. Nothing, quiet crowd today. I'm okay with that. I'll talk enough for both of us.
Just an observation. It seems to me that when I buy tortillas, that the whole grain ones are not as prominently displayed as the flour and the corn, and then
I feel
other
the
stuff is
same
somewhere
way.
in the bottom.
I will be. What someone actually said was, when it comes to the grocery store, that they actually feel like the whole grains is not displayed as well. And I can agree. I definitely think so. There are times where I feel like I have to find it, but I think it has a lot to do with what sells. And unfortunately, what sells is the refined grains or the flour tortillas. But I know that they're there, and of course, there's so many new tortillas and new things out there with keto and everything and low carb, but definitely if you do want to try something whole grain, a great starting base, at least what I've done, flour or whole grain tortillas. And while this still is cooking, I don't know. Give me just a second here. Let's read off the rest of what we have to do. Spinach. I actually pre-cut it and rinsed it off. If you get the regular bag, the pre-washed, it's fine. I just personally, my preference is actually I just rinse it off and chop it. But if you're using the bag or the fresh, I would probably clean it just a bit because I know there's a little dirt because I work with other types of greens. Rinse it off if you're using fresh. It's a little warm. Bear with me, you guys. It's so slow. It's hot, but not that hot. But it's getting there, so bear with us. I do, in this recipe, I know you probably read it, it does call for cayenne pepper. It is a preference. If someone wants to use cayenne pepper, that is completely okay, but is anyone, it's okay if we don't. Yes, I understand. I get it. But in the recipe, and the people who are actually virtual, I mailed out the recipes for all 4 sessions. So when it does come, you'll be able to see what I'm talking about as well. But do it to your preference and your family's preference. And just remember, even with the extra little that I have left over, like the corn and the beans, great way to either freeze it. Honestly, use it as leftovers. I don't know if anyone's doing eggs or any type of mix or hash. I incorporate my leftovers with anything. And while that's cooking fairly great, now it's getting warm. I can feel it. So I'm going to actually do a cup of beans. I'm going mash this up. Oh, so the whole thing. So the whole thing is a cup of beans. It's 15-ounce can, and half of that is about a cup, 8 ounces. It's getting good. You can't smell what I'm smelling, but it's there. I'm going to incorporate some of that spinach too. I'm going to put the lid on it. And at the very end, we're going to start setting up once this wilts up a bit. A little bit. And I'm just going to put the lid on it just for a little. And while I'm doing that, I am going to start setting up the cheese and the tortillas. And just another note, just to remind everyone who's here virtually, don't forget to look at your emails or the link that we have below, just to actually get our survey. It would be greatly appreciated. Helps with our funding. And I know everyone loves the Cooking Matters class. I still want to work here.
Could you unpack my grocery, dear?
What was that? Oh, it's okay. I thought we had a question. I'm okay with no questions.
And I just want to add, they did get, the people that are joining virtually, they got the attachments of the recipes
Good.
and things, so you can let them know if they didn't see it, it's there.
Okay. Brittany just told me that she actually sent out all the papers for today's session. So if you do have your email open or up, or if you've seen it, it should also be there as long as you've given us your email address prior. This is getting good. Bear with me, you guys, because I just realized my big burner doesn't work, so I'm using a smaller burner. But it's working slowly. I'm gonna clean up my area a little bit. Okay, you guys. Let's see how this is going. Well, that looks good. Still got a little bit ways to go. Everyone's quiet today. Is it the rain that's getting everyone? Probably. But no, I don't mind it. But if you do have questions on whole grains and just the nutritional labels that I showed you, don't hesitate even now after class. I'm going to mash up the beans just a little bit. I know you read it on the recipe, just a little. I still want it pretty wilted up so you don't have a soggy quesadilla. Anyone have any tips of what they do when they make quesadillas? I put vegetables, not as much. I try to incorporate one or two, but this is a good one. But if anyone had anything else for the crowd.
Okay, I never used vegetables before when I make my quesadilla.
Really?
Cheese and chicken.
See, that's still good. No, nothing wrong with that. Trust me, there are times where I like that too.
Vegetables, but
But it's a good way to incorporate it. It kind of sneaks it in. With my husband, he's kind of the anti-vegetable kind of guy. So when I have to hide things, he's like a kid. As long as I hide it well, he doesn't care. So pasta is my number one. I can blend it up. Things like this, peppers, onions, blend it up, put it in a sauce. He's not going to know the difference. He might say it tastes a little different. He'll say it'll taste different, but I'm like, oh. Did that son with husband? Trust me, they'll get their vegetables in there one way. But good way to incorporate just kind of extra that you have. I think that's the big thing that I do for me. If it's in the fridge, I want to use it. I don't want to. I don't want to just have a lot of spoil. Then that's what I do. And I always catch good sales at the grocery store. So I'm like, oh, maybe I should get one, knowing that I need my list. But no, I'm very much the same when it comes to quesadillas. Cheese, maybe a little bit of beans, maybe maybe some chicken. Salsa, I like that. I don't have salsa here, so you're going to have to. But I do like the suggestion. Salsa's a great one. And if you end up making it yourself, great, but I can't, so I go get the pico de gallo that's at the grocery store. Good, I think we can start this now. It's wilted up quite well. Bear with me, because it does take a minute for these quesadillas but it'll be fairly quick once we get our little stations. And know that next week, it's going to be about hydration. It's going to be about other ways to drink. It could be with smoothies. It could be with water. So definitely come by next week, same time, Monday. We're going to be giving you refreshments, and I'm going to give you some options of what you can use as alternative other than water. Does that sound good? Hopefully it doesn't rain. Actually, we need the rain, so I want it to rain. So, yes, I hope it does rain.
It was quite a downpour on Monday.
I know, it was. I do think that it was very rainy, but we needed it, and it cleaned my car, so the little things. I know, I didn't have to do anything. That's exactly how I see it. Rain's good, helps me out. You guys just know that my burner is really great right now. Let's hope that it stays that way. We're going to take this off and we're going to start it. Can you hear the sizzle? It's very faint, but it's there. See? Okay. It's working slowly but surely. Sorry, I want to make sure all the liquid's out. Good. I'm hoping it's looking good for you. This mashed up corn, spinach, zucchini mixture here. And of course, if it's something you don't like, always incorporate something you actually will eat and enjoy. These are just one of mine's. Let's get these going. It's a little hot. I'll lower it a bit. Just a little spray of cooking oil. I'm going to make it a little. And of course, you can always incorporate herbs like parsley, cilantro, basil, anything that you like. I don't have any at this time, so you'll be seeing it. So, you know what? Now you're making us hungry. No added on things like that. But it is a good alternative, so sour cream is great. I love the salsa idea, though. Eat that for breakfast, too. Get a good scoop in here. Want to spread it all out. Add a little bit more cheese. I'm actually being good and adding the appropriate amount, but to each their own. But if you like, stick with the recipe. Good. While this is warming up and heating, I'll wait a little bit. I just have to make 3 of them right here. But also just remember, if you're coming to class bright and early on Wednesday, we're talking about refreshments. And I know everyone's going to be able to want my fruit smoothie. So come for fruit smoothies. Oh, and also, before I even do that, I actually brought in little gifts for everyone for participating. I know we've reinforcement items. I'm sorry. That's the thing we're using. Reinforcement items we're using for thanking you for coming. I brought it out here. It's our cutting boards and it's our knives. I do tell you to be careful. Be careful here. Know that the people who are online, I've already mailed it out and it should be there in a couple days. So in a few days you will get that, but I will start this soon once I'm done with the food part. But just know I did bring your reinforcement items. It is melty, you guys. Did we lose someone? Does that mean more food for us? Okay. Bear with me. I was wondering about this. Does everyone want a bit of quesadilla? Okay.
Yeah, me too.
I
Me
want
too.
to give you some. I do. But virtually know that it's coming to you. It smells great. I wish you were here, but I'm glad you're in our class, though. Oh, and I want to tell you about the people who are there virtually. Your reinforcement item, it is not a knife. I cannot mail that. But there are other items that are in there, spatulas, things like that. You will not be disappointed.
Thank you. It's the cheese that holds it together, right?
The cheese does hold it together, I must admit. The vegetables are a great selling point, but the cheese is the star, and the vegetables as well. Well, at least in my son's case, it's the cheese, but we both know. But But honestly, this is one of the ones I do, but I actually prep everything beforehand. So I don't have to do any of this. I can eat these. This is actually for a few days because I prep my mixture, keep it in the refrigerator. Generally lasts like 3 or 4 days. And that when I want that snack or I want lunch or breakfast, I do this for breakfast. Don't judge me. This is what I actually use too. This is good. I want them a little crispier for you, so I'm going to do another flip. You're welcome. I know, it definitely smells good, so we're all good. I might as well prep. Okay, first one's out. Extremely hot. And while that's going, I want to start up another one. You don't need one if you have a nonstick pan, but this pan has been giving me something. Okay, I'm just going to spread it out. Good. And slather it on with a little bit more cheese. And my lovely assistant is going to help me out by starting to hand over your plates. There you go. Thank you. Thank you. We've got a couple over here to make.
Just so you have to smell the other one.
I want you both to have it, so you'll just be my.
You do it at the same time. Didn't seem fair.
I'll do one more too. Okay, it's chugging along slowly. How do you like it? I know only 2 people have had it. Be honest with me, it's all right. Don't be shy. I know you're not.
It's good. I like it.
And it's okay. If you're not eating as much fruits and vegetables, this might be a lot, but it is okay.
Before I not eat just put the vegetable. I always put the meat in and then right now use the vegetable tastes better.
It tastes better.
Healthy.
It tastes healthy. Well, I'm glad. And honestly, good. Everyone's saying it's good, but do you taste the difference in the whole wheat?
Yeah.
Okay. It's generally something that's what I sneak in for my whole grain, especially for the family. Everyone likes taco night, tortilla night. Great way to incorporate it, but if you don't notice the difference between flour, it's an easy transition. Ooh, this is getting good. Okay. Ladies, you're up. Don't worry. And of course, we save the best for last. I'm glad you like it. And for everyone who's virtual, I know that you got the recipe, so hopefully this is something you can incorporate and make. And honestly, even if you're changing it a little bit, adding even the pepper that I omitted, you can change it to anything you want. Well, this might take a minute, so I might as well I want to thank everyone for coming to class, and honestly, thank you, virtual, everyone for coming. Be on the lookout for the mail because you're going to receive your items. Um, and definitely stop by for our next session on Wednesday, just in case I don't forget to tell you next time. Good? I like them super crispy, so that's why I'm taking my time.
Does the vegetable mixture get watery if you don't finish using it?
Over time, it does get water. It does have liquids just because the zucchini and the spinach. So it gets there. I know you can't see it, but there's quite about a couple of teaspoons of water or tablespoons of water. So it does have a little bit of liquid. But before what I do, it's going to always do that, especially if you keep it in the fridge. But before I even start and prep, I squeeze all the water out from the zucchini just to get as much of it as I can, and just leave it on the leave it in the refrigerator in my colander in the bowl. It takes out a lot of liquid, but not all of it.
Okay.
Spinach, you know that it's going to wilt up, so you're always going to have that problem. And if you're not using fresh, that's perfectly okay too. Frozen actually works, because frozen spinach, that worked perfect when I did it. I just did the same thing, squoze all the water out. And honestly, I didn't have to wait for it to wilt. It was already just cut up all for me. So don't have to have it fresh. Nice, but not a necessity. Ooh. This is hot. I'm gonna scoop some of them out. And I'm gonna start the last one. Take a little bit of that out. I overstuffed it, so it is very much vegetable-y. No. While that's going,
The whole thing tortilla is gonna add like a little bit of nuttiness too. It's kind of, it's different, but I actually prefer it now that I started making it.
I feel like that's the same with me. It's a slow progression, but I feel it tastes heartier. I think it tastes heartier for me. And the kids and husband, they don't notice the difference. It's like, it's good. They just say it's good. I'm going to spread all of this out. And add some cheese. And I didn't cut it tight enough.
While you're cutting, I'm just gonna say really quick.
What kind of cheese are you using?
I have a mix of mozzarella and it's a Mexican blend. So cheddar, Colby, and Monterey, but honestly, you can use to your own preference. I kind of like that mix, but the low-fat mozzarella is great. I didn't see it at the store, that's why I didn't grab it. But honestly, it's to your preference. I do like the Mexican-style cheese, though.
It doesn't matter.
To you, yeah, if it doesn't matter. If you're cutting are a little lower fat, then low fat is a great alternative as well.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no, go ahead.
Just because we have a couple newer people this week, Maria, I believe you came to bingo size out of, well, Cynthia, here. If you would like, please go ahead and just put your addresses into the chat box, or your email, and we will send you all of the materials to your home address along with the reinforcement items. So the cutting board, the measuring tool,
Spatula.
Carolee, yours is on its way, I know, but just for the other ones that are newer today, please just go ahead and leave those there and we'll send them to you.
Yes.
They didn't hear anything I said, huh? I just realized it.
It's okay. What she was saying was,
It's
for,
okay, I just realized that
for
was
anyone new who happens to be here, especially virtual, put down your name and your address so we can actually give you the paperwork and the reinforcement items like the spatula and the cutting board and everything that we're giving out. So please put down that information so we can send it to you next week. That's what Brittany was saying. I'm glad you like it. So can I quit my day job and become a chef? Yeah. Not quite, but we'll see. I like it here, so I can make jokes and everyone laughs, so I'm good with that. I feel like we saved the best for last because you have got the very perfect quesadilla here. Not saying that everyone else wasn't, but. Okay. I'm not even going to turn it off because I know I'm going to need it for more quesadillas. It's okay, assistant. He's the last one. Here you go.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Very kind of you. Thank
No,
you,
I
thank
want to
you.
tell me how you like it. Thank you. You're welcome. Tell me how you like it. Everyone's now hopefully has gotten a piece. I'm going to keep on wringing it out. Pretty good. Something that we can incorporate in our daily doing. I'm not saying I'd like for you to do it every day, but of course I know how it is with grocery shopping and getting everything you need. That's why I'm good with, I have to do a list. But thank you so much, everyone, for coming to class. I'm going to see you next week. Everyone virtual as well, thank you for coming. Don't forget to put in, if you're new, put in your name and your address so I can send over what I've been talking about the last couple sessions.
And click the survey.
Oh, and I remember like what I said before in the beginning, the survey you're going to get in the, and you also are going to get in the email. So please do this survey. It helps out for our funding. I know that we all enjoy the Cooking Matters class and all the additional ones we do. So please help us out. But thank you everyone for joining.
Thank you.
You're
Very tasty.
welcome.
I like the crispy tortilla.
Oh, you like it? Okay. I see the crispy tortilla and the cheese is perfect. Try one more. We've got some left, so we are gonna do a few more. Then, the white flour, are you talking about the breads? Tortilla? I like using it just because it has a little bit more fiber and protein and just more nutrients compared to the white one. 'Cause it's this one's a whole wheat one. Whole wheat, and I'll show you when you come over, I'll show you all of it as well. But definitely a great alternative, and it just tastes a little bit more filling. And we've done the little bread activity. Oh, it's kind of funny. Look at the bread one. The wheat bread is still actually short amount of time.